Hello, hi, it's Stephanie from Our Natural Wisdom. So good to be here with you again for another episode of, oh, Soulful Gardening Wisdom. So many different titles I could use. It's so good to be here. Today's topic is clearing intrusive thoughts with self-compassion. And boy, this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart because, like so many women who struggle with anxiety, I really suffered from intrusive thoughts for many years. Intrusive thoughts are very, very common among women with anxiety. Very common. Yet we don't really talk about it. So I want to talk about it today because I want to share some things that really helped me clear this and really release the shame of having these kinds of thoughts, because I know that it will help you too. And I kind of wish that somebody would have told me these things a long time ago, so I am passing it along to help you. Intrusive thoughts are unwanted thoughts. They can come up very suddenly out of the blue. They're often very distressing, disturbing. They could be violent. They could have a energy about them that just makes you pause and wonder if you're going totally crazy. And I say that with so much compassion because I experienced that myself. I recently had some disturbing thoughts, some intrusive thoughts surfacing because my daughter is going to be going on a spring break trip with a friend. She's going to be gone for a whole week. It's the first time that we've been away from each other that long. And this new experience is already bringing up these intrusive thoughts for me. And I realized that I found so much I was able to clear them peacefully with so much self-compassion in the garden space, out in nature. And so there's a real connection here between the healing that is associated with our gardens, with being in nature, and with clearing this burden that so many of us that struggle with anxiety are carrying. And just to give you an idea of the kinds of things that I'm talking about, thinking about a plane crash, thinking about her, going out on a boat and the boat capsizing and she's trapped underneath it. And, then the sharks come and I'm talking, woo, it's like spinning, right? These thoughts happen to us. They happen to us. And I really experienced this the most intensely after I gave birth to her, over 11 years ago now. After having a child is a very common time for intrusive thoughts to start to surface. And it can come about so suddenly and coinciding with having a baby that it can be so distressing for so many women. They are very related to hormonal shifts. So through pregnancy, childbirth, fertility treatments, through going through perimenopause and menopause, there's a lot of hormonal things that contribute to intrusive thoughts. And I did not know this. Nobody told me this. So I'm voicing it for you. The shame that comes along with having thoughts like this can be significant. It can be such a heavy burden for us to carry. When my daughter was a tiny, tiny baby, we would go out for stroller walks and we would be at a stoplight ready to cross. And all of a sudden I'd be thinking, oh my God, I'm going to let go of the stroller. She's going to roll into the street. She's going to be hit by a car. She's going to be strapped into the stroller. She's a tiny baby. I'm not going to be able to save her. We would walk by a pond on a regular basis. Same thing. I would think, oh my God, I'm going to let go of the stroller, and the stroller's going to go into the pond and go underwater, and I'm not going to be able to get her out. Even things like she was going to fall into a storm drain. I mean, like things that are so incredibly unlikely, so remotely likely, but they surface, and they can surface again and again. And again, they can cause a lot of shame, a lot of heaviness, a lot of just feeling of overwhelm, and that you're afraid that you are literally going crazy, losing your mind, that you're unsafe, unfit person. Not true. When we have anxiety, our brains are working overtime. They are always seeking out the scenarios that will prepare us, with the idea that it will protect us to know all of these different scenarios that could possibly happen. And intrusive thoughts start to pop up when our brains, when we experience those hormonal shifts, and when our brains are just going on overdrive, like overdrive, hyper overdrive, to identify those scenarios that we need to be protected from. So again, they are so common, and the key to clearing them for yourself is, it feels counterintuitive, but it is so healing. We must train ourselves to observe these thoughts, not to push them away, not to dismiss them, not to, oh my God, I can't think that, just shove them away. Well, the more that we do that, the more we resist them, the more they persist within us. And I'm not saying that we're going to embrace them and think, oh, these are lovely thoughts, because that's not true. But we can learn to observe them for what they are, a thought that your brain comes up with, that your brain is trying to protect you from infinite number of scenarios that could possibly happen in your life. And, extremely remotely possible, your brain will come up with it. So when we get into the practice of observing our thinking, we are able to create space from that thought. We can create breathing room from that thought. That thought does not control you. It does not define you. It really says nothing about you. It is simply a thought that your brain is coming up with to protect you, with the idea that this could protect you in some way. So the first step to clearing intrusive thoughts is to observe them, to just allow it to be, to recognize that you're having this thought, maybe journal it, maybe speak it out loud, maybe actually voice it to a trusted friend. This was a pivotal moment for me when I started to voice my intrusive thoughts to a friend who had experienced them as well. And she was like, oh yeah, I know just what you're talking about. I used to worry that I was going to, put the baby in the microwave or put the baby in the freezer. And even just saying these things, I have a part that's like, oh my God, you can't say these things. You can't say these things on Instagram. People are going to think that you're a horrible person. We need to normalize this. We need to normalize that this happens, especially for women who have anxiety. So when we allow ourselves to observe these thoughts, that immediately creates a lot of healing, because you're creating that space from the thought. You are not allowing it to have so much power over you. It's a thought. A thought cannot hurt you. A thought cannot hurt you. I know that it may be a painful thought. It is a disturbing thought, but it cannot hurt you. So that is the first step. And being in nature, being in the garden is such a beautiful container for this work, because it is allowing you to step into that place of presence, allowing you to breathe, to be out in the open, in the air, in the environment with Mother Earth. And it just creates spaciousness simply by being there and by being intentional with observing your thinking, allowing that thought to be. When you are there in that place of observing your thought and allowing it to be, send yourself so much compassion, so much love, because you have the ability to step away from this painful thought that can really create distressing feelings and emotions and can contribute so much more to the anxiety that you already are journeying through in your life. So just as a very simple practice to release and clear intrusive thoughts, I encourage you to allow yourself time when you're recognizing that you are having those thoughts. Step outside, even if it's just on your front porch, or even if it's just, out the front door of your workplace. Take a 5-minute break, if that, and allow yourself to give that thought space, sending yourself compassion for having that experience, for knowing that you have a beautiful brain that is trying to protect you, and to know that you are not your brain. You are not controlled by your thoughts. You are sovereign. You are in touch with your soul. You are connected with the divine. You are divine. So when you step into this place of self-compassion and observing your thoughts, when you're in nature especially, you can then choose to release it. I like to imagine holding a thought in like the palms of my hand, cupping the thought in my hand, and simply holding it out and allowing it to be released in however it is being guided to be released, or however my soul is guiding it to be released, however Mother Earth is guiding it to be released. Allow that thought to dissipate. Allow it to return to the light. You may actually close your eyes and envision it coming apart into tiny light particles, being dissolved and returning to the light. You may imagine it, or you may actually place it on the ground in some plants at the base of a beautiful tree, and allow that thought to simply return to the light, to return to life force energy that is life affirming, that is beautiful and full of love and compassion. So much of this practice is about allowing you to step into your power of dissolving what is no longer serving you, not pushing it away, not resisting, not berating yourself for having that thought in the first place, but by simply stepping into your power of presence and releasing it. And you can do this so beautifully. I know that you can. It is a practice. Allow yourself time to practice it. Your soul and Mother Earth will guide you through it every step of the way, and you will feel so much freedom as a result. All right, I hope that helps you. I am so pleased to let you know that enrollment has opened for my online course, Reclaim Your Peace, Cultivating Self-Compassion through Soulful Gardening. It is a beautiful merging of practical gardening wisdom and self-care practices that will serve you for a lifetime. You will leave this course with all of the tools you need for a lifetime of soul connection and self-compassion, and everything that you need to create a beautiful healing garden of native plants, To receive all of the information about that course, simply click the link in bio for Reclaim Your Peace, Cultivating Self-Compassion through Soulful Gardening. I would love to see you there. Course starts April 10th. And I'd love to see you again next week. Thanks for joining. I'll see you next week on Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Time. Have a lovely week, everyone. Bye-bye.